Now, the executive director of the Ghana Wildlife Society, David Kepley, has proposed the beefing up of security, including installation of security cameras at the Accra Zoo to forestall a recurrence of yesterday's incident. His call follows a statement by the Forestry Commission that a middle-aged man alleged to be an intruder had been killed by a lion at the Accra Zoo. According to the Commission, the deceased is suspected to have scaled the lion's cage in an attempt to steal a cub. Patrol guards later discovered the lifeless body of the alleged intruder lying by the lion in the cage. My colleague Michael Ashley visited the zoo yesterday and filed this report.
It never bit or it never ate him any part of his body.
The lifeless body of a man believed to be middle-aged at the back of an ambulance at the Achimota Zoo. He was discovered by guards at the zoo with his throat in the jaws of a lion. He is believed to have jumped over 2 fences, a 10-foot and 20-foot tall fences, to reach the lion's den. CEO of the Forestry Commission, John Alote, explained.
Yes, around midday today, one of our assistant managers on his normal tour of the zoo around the enclosure where we have the lions noticed that someone has entered the enclosure, male, and then he was being held by the neck by one of the lions, the male lion. He quickly informed his superiors, and the case was reported to the Achimota police.
The zoo houses 2 lions, a male and a female, with 2 cubs that are less than a year old. Although the intention of the intruder is not yet known, it is believed he was there to steal one of the cubs. Here is Deputy Land Minister Benito Owusubio.
If you look up here, you see that that place has been tampered with. That's where the person scaled and went in. The advice is that these lions are in their cages. They are in their fence. They are just resting. Why would somebody come and try to enter, scale the fence and go inside to do what? If you are going for the cubs, the lioness and the male will protect their cubs. So please, this is a warning to people who have other intentions and ulterior motives.
Benito Owusubio also dispelled rumors the animal had escaped their hold and were roaming free in the forest.
The lions are safe. They are here. There's no animal or lion prowling around the Achimota area. Everyone should go on with his activities or duties without any fear or panic.
The police was at the scene to ensure calm had been restored. The body has since been deposited at the morgue. For JoyNews, Michael Ashley.
Now let's now hear from the Executive Director of the Wildlife Society on steps to prevent future occurrence.
We took time to inspect and to put in the fence and to make sure that the lions are secure. And when people are coming to be conducted around, for security, we shouldn't be afraid and take this single incident as a sign of insecurity. We want to assure the general public that the zoo is a secure place. The fence that have been put around are okay. It's abnormal for a lion to want to break the fence and come out. So we want to assure the general public that the zoo is secure. This is just a single one-off incident that we don't think that should let people think that the place is insecure. No.
Do you think something more should be done to improve security and safety? For example, people are asking, do we have CCTV cameras around that could help us even identify what really happened? So to you, what else do you think can be done to improve security and safety at the facility?
Obviously, the use of technology will improve the situation. CCTV definitely is something that we welcome if we have the funds. Also, increasing the number of staff patrolling the area will also be something that we can consider. So yes, all those are measures that we need to enhance in order to enhance the security. But for now, we want to say that this is just a single incident that we need to just We will look at the issues and then see how best we can help the Wildlife Division to improve upon the security.
My colleague Papani Ashele went back to the Accra Zoo this morning and reported that police have cordoned off the area as they conduct investigations into the incident.
A recognized entrance into the entire forest where the Achimota Zoo, or the Accra Zoo people also call, is also located here. So it's business as usual at the entrance, especially for people who come here for refuge, especially to pray. You can see this particular poster here, or this particular that says that the Echo Park Prayer Enclave. So this Achimota Forest also serves as an enclave for those who are hoping for some solitude, some quietness to pray to their deity. So the entrance here, you'd see people teeming here and queue, waiting their turn to pay. I understand that they have to pay to get access to the forest here. So that's what you have, people in queue, even vehicles getting entrance into the forest, many of whom I understand are going to pray here. But the zoo, I understand, is off limits, is not available to the public now. The Forestry Commission, what we hear from them is that per the notice that they've gotten from the place has to be cordoned off for police investigations to commence as soon as possible. Again, what we know is that the identity of the gentleman involved, the victim, is yet to also be unraveled as it stands now. So again, a lot more people here, some of whom even are renting chairs. I get renting chairs to help them with their prayer sessions at the place here. They have to pay a token and get a cheat, then they are allowed. So that should give you a sense of the protocol again when you are getting access into the forest and again to the zoo. So you need first to go through this process of taking a cheat, then you go to the zoo. Daddy, what is that here to do? You are going to the zoo? You are coming to?
We are coming to pray.
You are coming to pray. Yeah. But yesterday we heard that there was a lion, or there was a gentleman that has managed to get into the lion's den and has been devoured. You are not concerned?
Yeah, I'm really concerned, but where the zoo is far away from where the prayer comes in.
Yeah. But I mean, you should be. Why not?
I've been here for so many years, so I can say this is the first time that this has happened. So we are not afraid of it because, as I said, the zoo is far away from here, from where we are praying, so we are not afraid.
Why is praying in the Achimota Forest so important to you?
Oh, you can pray anywhere, in your room, wherever, but it's a gathering. We have pastors that, I'm a pastor also, so I have my senior pastor that so many people used to come here. There's no difference from praying Achimota Forest and in your house or in your churches. Just that it has been a norm since some years ago, so that's why we are coming to.
What if we said that, well, for today, nobody should get access to the zoo, to the forest, because of incidents like where people could just get into places that we don't expect them to be?
Nothing will happen, because in the COVID era, we stayed at home for almost 2 years without coming here. So we will pray in our churches and in our homes.
What's your name?
My name is Budu Sam. Budu Sam.
Okay, sure. Sam, thank you very much. And all the best with your prayers here. So Budu Sam is one of many people that are still coming to the Achimota Forest. Although news like this, quite strange, bizarre, and odd, but also prefer to pray at the forest. He tells me it's nothing, it's something new though. This is the first time he's hearing this since he came here. But should there be a ban on services in the forest here, well, he would be okay with it. Although that he still prefers to pray in the forest here. So this particular stretch of road you see now here leads all the way to the zoo. I understand it's about 1 kilometer from where we stand all the way to the zoo in itself. So the forest in its entirety is not the entire zoo, but from here you drive all the way. If you have a vehicle like it's I'm heading now. It's about 5 minutes drive, I have been told. That will be the process here. We'll be going to check out the zoo and what really it is. What we are gathering here, Brace, again, is that the zoo is supposed to be cordoned off under the direction of the Ghana Police Service for investigations to commence into the incident that happened there some hours ago.
Now, let's take you to Kumasi, where a monarchical historian, Adam Manshia Palace, Osebo Susafo Kantanka, has accused leader of the UPP, Akwesi Adai Odike, of staging last week's attack on his office. This follows reports that Odike had accused the chiefs of Manshia of engaging in illegal mining. The former flag bearer's office was subsequently ransacked and vandalized by suspected thugs in the course of last week. But the monarchical historian at the Manshia Palace, Osebo Susafo Kantanka, is skeptical about the report he spoke on the AM show. But we'll take you to Nana Iyao Jima, who's standing by with update on whether or not the meeting that was expected to happen today has happened. Nana, thank you so much. What can you tell us about this meeting? Has it started yet? All right, so we're taking you to Kumasi to find out the update on the closure of Oyerepa FM. We understand that the station was asked to shut down in the wake of this whole accusation by Odike that Manshia has sat down and has watched on for Galamsey to destroy a lot of forest there. But monarchical historian at the Manshia Palace, also Bonsusafo Kantanka, is accusing Akwesi Adai Odike of staging the attack on his office. He was speaking on the AM show Monday morning.
I strongly believe that Odike staged a drama. So he's the first suspect.
Please clarify. Are you saying he staged the attack?
Sure, I'm confident. Until it has been proven that he did not stage a drama, it is a drama.
Mr. Kantanka, Safo Kantanka, I want to understand this clearly. You see the footage there of his party office vandalized, bullets going through cars. In fact, one of his men was hit by a stray bullet with these, young thugs attacking the premises, chanting, looking for him. You say you think it was staged?
Yes, I think so. I think it was staged, and Odike could easily do that.
But based on what would you make this assertion?
He should be the first suspect. When somebody reports a case, you do not take it just because he has reported. He himself is a suspect.
So let's take you back to Kumasi now and join my colleague Nana Iyao Jima to find out the update on this particular meeting, whether or not it has come on or not. But commenting on the development with particular reference to the shutting down of the Oyerepa FM in connection with the incident, lecturer at the School of Communication Studies, Professor Audrey Gajepo, says the chieftaincy institution has not come to terms with upholding the ideals of democracy. Professor Gajepo said, like all other institutions, the chieftaincy institution is not about criticism and they should not be seen to be overstepping their bounds in the democratic regime. She also spoke on the AM show.
Our democratic right as citizens says that we can express ourselves so long as we don't libel people, so long as we don't slander people. We can criticize even authority. The chieftaincy institution is an authority, but so are our governments. So we can criticize our politicians, we can hold them accountable without fear of being sanctioned for doing that, without fear of intimidation. However, because I think that, in my opinion, a lot of the chiefs have not lived up to the democratic ideal. Their conception of democracy has been limited in the sense that they're enjoying the dividends of democracy, of course, but then when it comes to certain aspects of democracy that is served, like criticizing a chief who you think is gone out of bounds, or the institution, then or doing something within a jurisdiction that they don't like, then they overstep their powers. So closing down a radio station or even telling a radio station you cannot say this about me when what they're saying is not illegal becomes a problem in the democratic society. You know, banishing people. We are in a constitutional democracy. We've had chiefs banish people from their jurisdiction. Meanwhile, our constitution says there should be freedom of movement. Right. And we've sat by and listened to chiefs issue bans on citizens because their behaviors are seen as unacceptable.
Now, still speaking on this development on the AM show, the executive director of the Kufuor Foundation, Professor Bafo Agyemangua, says the chieftaincy institution remains a relevant institution in our democratic dispensation. Professor Agyemangua said it is an entity that needs to be accorded the needed respect.
We live in two worlds, Africans, Ghanaians in particular, and in this particular case. But what you have to recognize that democracy gives us certain liberties that are universal, and that must be respected by all. And as Professor Gajepo rightly said, the media is the fourth estate in our constitution, and nothing should be done to cripple that estate because it's the most powerful means for people to express themselves. At the same time, it's also important to note that if you are properly brought up in our society, you have to know how you speak. In our democracy, people stand anywhere and insult a president. Akufo-Addo, Kufuor, Rawlings, Atamils, Mahama. We insult them. And because we have a freedom of expression. But our culture and tradition also teach us that there's a better way of talking to our elders. Whether people who are highly educated today think that that is no longer necessary, then that's a different story. Because our existence as Ghanaians is rooted. If you are from the north, from the east, from the west, from the central part, you are rooted in something, what I call the primordial existence. So that's part of the intellectual sophistry that we can all engage in about democracy, modernity, and all that. The bottom line is that if you are summoned today by your chief, your response will be dramatically different from when you are summoned by your MCE or DC or your minister.
Now let's take you to Kumasi now. As management of Oyepa FM meet with chiefs at Menchia Palace, Nana Ojima joins us live with more. Nana, what can you report?
About 30 minutes ago, the meeting commenced, and we had management of Oyepa FM coming along with some leadership of the Methodist Church, including former Peace Council Chair, Most Reverend Emmanuel Asante, among others. And also they were led by a representative of the Askorima Mponhene, who is also part of the Asanteman Traditional Council. Now, the representative of Askorima Mponhene stood on behalf of Oyepa FM to plead with the traditional authority to forgive them. And he also went ahead to outline some of the measures that the Oyepa FM, that's management, has put in place to ensure that such incident does not repeat itself. Now, from there, we also had the former chair of the Peace Council also coming in to add his voice to the pleas. And he also pleaded on behalf of Oyepa FM, insisting that they put in place stringent measures to prevent repetition of such an incident. Now, immediately he finished, it was thrown onto the floor for the various heads of various divisions in the traditional system to also have their take. And all the chiefs that, out of the 12 chiefs About 6 chiefs have spoken so far, and all these chiefs also have added their voices to the pleas for Oyepa FM to be forgiven, and also granted the permission to go back and open their radio station for business to commence. So so far, it looks like the members of the Kumasi Traditional Council have seen some wisdom in what Oyepa FM today came here to do, and over the weekend closure of their radio station and what it means towards ensuring that they plead with the traditional authority. So therefore, the traditional authority is yet to take a conclusion. But from how the negotiations are going, it's likely that they'll be forgiven and made to go back.
Now, we're also aware that the GJA had to meet with the chiefs. What's the status of that meeting?
So the GJA is here to appear before the traditional authority. But some information that I've received so far is that the GJA before this meeting were in a secret meeting with the traditional authority. But we are yet to get any updates on what is exactly transpired within the meeting. But I'm also reliably informed that before the GJA made an appearance here at the Menshia Palace, the chiefs were not happy with the press release that the GJA had brought out earlier, because they believe that if the GJA would want to take any step on this issue, they should have consulted the traditional authority and listened to their side of the story before going about or going ahead to issue a press and release. So they are yet to be called in public, but I have some information that before now they met the traditional authority.
The main character in all of this is also Akwesi Adai, who is also known as Odike. What about his meeting with the Traditional Council too?
I haven't cited Mr. Akwesi Adai here at the Menshia Palace, and I haven't heard anybody here mention his name, but the information that I received yesterday is that the traditional authority within his hometown called the family of Mr. Akwesi Adai for them to go ahead and invite and tell him that the Menshia Palace wants Mr. Akwesi Adai. But I also have information that Mr. Akwesi Adai is not ready to make an appearance at the Menshia Palace until the chiefs go ahead and reverse some traditional some customs that were made to punish him here at the Menshia Palace.
All right, thank you very much. Nana Aljuma is our man on the beat there. Now, let me take you up north, where a resident of Gagbini in the West Mamprose municipality are yet again calling for assistance following the destruction of their property by floods caused by days of heavy rains. The flooding, which occurred Sunday, has displaced over 50 people, with at least 4 houses destroyed completely and bags of foodstuff and other property washed away. Displaced persons have been left stranded with their salvaged property unpacked along the road while they go in search of shelter. Vehicles traveling on the Wale-Nalerigo road cannot cross over because the road in the community was cut off for the flow of water. Some of the victims who spoke to JoyNews blamed the local authorities, who they accused of failing to construct drains and gutters to ensure easy flow of water during the rainy season. They are calling on the government, especially the Vice President, to come to their aid. The residents were still recovering from a similar occurrence in October last year, when the entire community was submerged in floodwaters, prompting a Joy FM SOS campaign dubbed Up to Us that resulted in receipt and donation of dozens of relief materials to the victims. The Vice President also donated 100,000 cedis to help the victims rebuild and promised that drains and gutters would be constructed to end the annual occurrence. Now, some of the victims have been speaking to JoyNews.
Government come and help the community, so that the last 2002 or what, 2002, the thing, this water come happen here. So I beg government to come and help me to do the culvert for me for community. Every year, long stay now on my father's side, the water don't do that. But this time, come and do the road. They come and make the road go to top. They raise the road. They raise the road is big. So the water come, they couldn't pass the bridge. So I beg them to come and do that. qualified for me from the community. So I beg government to come and do it. So several times, this year is a second time. So I beg them to come and they didn't come and help me, didn't do that again. So I need for the government to come and do the bridge for me. So the government, the community, this year is several times, second time. So I beg government, they come and help me, the community. In my house, I don't have a room to come and sleep here. So I beg the government to come and do for me, the community.
Correspondent Eliasu Tanko joins us on phone with more details. Eliasu, what more do you know? Hello, Eliasu, if you can hear me, what more do you know about this incident?
No, is that the incident happened yesterday, and as I speak to you now, because of the effort by the local authorities, including the National Disaster Management Organization, they have been able to push enough of the water from the community out of the community, I must say, and the water has receded. Some of the victims have managed to reach to their homes, but unfortunately, they are not able to live in there. And so yesterday, we understand most of them had to go to nearby communities to sleep with family and friends. As I speak to you now, that particular community, the Nalirgu Wale Wale Highway passed through that particular community as a result of the flooding yesterday. Authorities have, and that affects that particular road. And so this morning, we understand that that particular portion has been repaired and traffic has begun to flow on the road as well. But most of many of the victims are still homeless, in effect.
Thank you very much, Eliasu. Monitor the progress of this and update our viewers with whatever will be happening. You're also watching the JoyNews today. Now, the Director General of the National Lottery Authority has questioned the rationale behind recent utterances by the UK High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson. Sami Awoku is concerned about what he says as a seeming imbalance in the diplomat's commentary regarding Ghana's governance issues. The former organizer of the New Patriotic Party indicated that the diplomat must channel some of the energy towards some issues engaging the attention of a home country, the UK. Over the weekend, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, in an interview on JoyNews, addressed setting development in the country. Mrs. Thompson, among other things, asked that President Akufo-Addo stands with Ghanaians as the country goes through economic challenges by cutting down on expenditure as a sign of solidarizing with the plight of the citizenry.
It's very challenging for many people in Ghana, as it is for many people across the world. After the pandemic, then to have Russia's invasion of Ukraine creating another layer of really difficult economic challenges for the whole world has been a lot for a lot of countries to bear. Here in Ghana, talking with members of my team, talking with friends, I know how much the cost of living increases are really affecting people. I have heard from people that they're worried about civil unrest. For me, Ghana is a country with a proud democratic tradition, and freedom of expression has always been and continues to be an important part of Ghana's political, social life. And as we see people being angry, being dissatisfied perhaps with how various organisations are dealing with the economic situation, it's important that they're able to express that. I don't think, you know, when I hear about people saying, oh, maybe there'll be a huge uprising, a revolution, a coup, no, I can't see that in Ghana. Ghana's democracy is too strong.
In spite of the economic challenges we face?
I believe so. I believe so. I think that it's important that people are able to express themselves, are able to express that discontent. But I don't see that translating into the kind of uprisings that you see in other countries, sadly.
It won't be anything similar to the Arab Springs or anything that we've seen so far?
I would be surprised. I mean, you know, That's not to say it's not going to happen. Of course, I can't judge that, but I would be surprised.
Okay. Challenges we have, has any security implications for us as a country?
So I do think we see when these sorts of really challenging economic situations hit, yes, you will see more unrest. You'll potentially see increases in crime. You'll potentially see more protests and higher feelings.
Speaking on Joy Prime's morning show, Monday morning, Director General of the National Lottery Authority, Samia Oku, urged the High Commissioner to be mindful of her remit in order not to overstep boundaries as a diplomat through her sessions.
That of the British High Commissioner. I think she's been very eloquent in interfering in the governance process of a country. And sometimes I beg to differ with the way she also expresses her opinion. That doesn't mean that we are gagging people, but I think that there's definitely a code as well for.
You think they want to go back to the colonial master?
For diplomats, and I think sometimes she must also be a bit cautious with the way she interferes in the governance process of a country. Else you might, people might feel that you are playing politics of it. I never heard her commenting about the Partygate scandal of a country. And whether that was also in the good interest of the British people. I never heard her talk about the amount of money that people were paying. If you get to the United Kingdom and you wanted to also, and they had to test you for positive or negative of the COVID, you do day 2, you do day 5, you do day 8.
That you have to pay.
That you have to pay. I never heard Madame Diplomat also talking about that. So once she begins to also express these opinions, they are good. But it's important that she also becomes very balanced in what is also happening back home in her country.
Right.
She's talking about cutting down on costs, which I also find very interesting, which is so good.
So do you disagree with her?
In the midst of this, UK is also investing more in ammunition to support Ukraine, to the detriment of the British people, and how they are also feeling the pinch for the first time in the United Kingdom.
This is Joy News Today. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we have latest from the world of business. Stay with us.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Beverly Broom. Let's do business now. The National Development Planning Commission is calling for more investment into wash systems and services to support the operations of businesses at the various local assemblies across the country. According to its director, Dr. Felix Yobo, wash systems are critical to the growth of various indigenous companies in the country. He spoke to Joy Business at a national dialogue series on proper budgeting and planning for wash systems.
Sustainable services remain a daunting challenge in the water, sanitation and hygiene sector. According to Dr. Yobo, funds to push the activities of various wash systems in Ghana is inadequate. This, he explains, will retard the growth of businesses in the country.
Currently, there are some weaknesses in the planning processes, or wash planning, I should say. It borders on capacity, it borders on coordination, both at the national and then district level, and then also financing of wash services, which relates to the budgeting. What we are seeing is that many of the wash plans that are presented on the financing side doesn't look very strong, and also in addressing issues of water quality monitoring. So NDPC took on the initiative to develop toolkit.
Country Director at the USAID, Alberto Wold, said his outfit will bring in more investors to support the sector.
Trying to identify the gaps. Where can we assist and make sure that those gaps are fulfilled? From the district assembly level to the regional level and to the national level. So these workshop that we're conducting is to enable and to enhance, that's the name of the project, Enhancing WASH, is to enhance the things that are not fully functioning. There are things, there are structure that are there, but there needs some tweaking to be able to function well.
Now, Chief Executive Officer of the Leadership Empowerment Group, Albert Kusi-Prempeh, is asking young people to blend both hard and soft skills judiciously to fight against unemployment. According to him, young people need a deliberate approach in bridging the gap between academia and industry. Speaking to Joy Business ahead of the 2022 National Youth Mentorship Summit, he reiterated the need for the youth to be aggressive in acquiring critical skills.
It seems there's a missing link with academia and the industry. From your point of view, how do you think we can bridge that particular gap?
I think majority of the work relies on the students. They would need to look at what they study as more technical, and therefore they need to go out there and acquire some soft skills. They need to go out there and understand what does industry expect from me after school? How do I do internships? How do I volunteer? They need to be deliberate about acquiring some skills before they exit. It will make their transition into the corporate much more easier, and that is why we put up these platforms. So it's for them to take advantage of these platforms. You see, it helps them to network. They get to meet the business leaders. They get to meet people who are making decisions. They get to interact with them, understand the mistakes they made and avoid these mistakes. They get to understand what did it take for them to get where they are, and how as a young person coming up, how can I also go through and avoid some mistakes they made. So students will need to be deliberate about acquiring skills before they leave school, and there are several opportunities, several platforms, several things that they can do so that their transition to the corporate environment becomes much more easier. National Youth Mentorship Summit, as the name implies, is a platform we've created where we have senior people coming to mentor the young ones. We believe that young people today can learn a lot of lessons from our senior colleagues, sharing their experience on the issues of career and issues of even entrepreneurship. But for this year, I'll focus on entrepreneurship, how young people can start their own businesses in a situation we face with issues of graduate unemployment. So we are trying to create a platform where interested participants can come over to network, to share ideas, and also to ask critical questions. I want to start that business. I don't have funding. How do I go about it?
That's all for business now. We have more business news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Beverly Broom.
Muftau Nabila Abdullah here with sports on Joy News today. Ghana is expected to use about 140 million out of the 750 million Afri-Exim Bank loan that has just reportedly hit the Bank of Ghana's accounts. This is to ensure the country is ready to organize the Africa Games 2023. My colleague Fentio Tahiru has the rest of the story.
The moment, construction appears to be at the starting phase, and there are fears work will not be completed in time for the start of the Games. But chairman of the local organizing committee, Dr. Ofosu Asare, remains confident Ghana will be ready in 12 months' time.
That's the hope of everyone, all of us here, the LOC members, the minister, and I'm sure every Ghanaian is expecting us to finish and be able to host the Games next August, and that's the time. Together with the African Union, we have the timetable for that. That is the hope. We are looking forward to getting the needed funding to get a job going, to get a job done. And the funding doesn't come from us, it comes from government. And recently we might have heard about the 750 million Exim Bank loan that the government managed to secure, the parliament approved, and out of that we are to have 140 million going towards infrastructure. And let me also say that that's for infrastructure. We haven't even looked at operational costs, procurement, and what have you. So a lot of money is involved if you are hosting the Games, and you must be prepared to put in money. You know, if you have money and you are building, you can even build during the day, build in the middle, have two shifts, have workers coming in and all that. And you can beef up your staff and get the work done as quickly as possible. Yeah. So, in my view, if we don't get the money on time, or if we delay in giving them the money, then it means we cannot meet the timelines. And if we can't meet the timelines, then it's going to affect the time schedule for the Games.
I've reassured Ghanaians
both in Parliament, by delivering a statement, and that the games will come on and answer questions. As long as government is concerned, if there is no any force majeure, any major thing like pandemic, the games will come on. Because we are ready and we are working to ensure that the games come on, and government is committed to it.
This very spot will be where all of the starting blocks will be, especially for the shorter distance races like the 100 meters. All records that will be set, that will be broken, will start right here. And for now, as you can see, it looks like just sun, with the tracks yet to be fixed. As to when that will be done remains a big question.
I'm very positive because the contractors are on site. We have few challenges, let me admit, because once we had the right to host the game, COVID set in. And that was the main reason why we even adopted the hybrid, because of the timing. Then also, currently, we had a financial arrangement with Carl Bank to raise the funding for the facility, the provision of these current facilities that we are having. But there were a few challenges of Carl Bank being able to raise the funding for the contractors to keep them on track of the timelines. But government have taken steps to make sure that they resolve those challenges and get the contractors complete on schedule. So as long as financing, we get the financing right, we are able to get the funding to the contractors on time, the project will be delivered for us to be able to host the game.
It is clear infrastructure challenges are not the only issues impeding the successful organization of the games. And stakeholders have just 12 months to be ready. Maybe 12 months may seem like a long time for many, but for many athletes around the globe, it looks like a daunting task. But until then, all we can do is hope. From the Portland Sports Complex, I'm Fentu, Tahir Fentu for Joy Sports.
That's your sports for now, but do have more sports stories on myjoyonline.com and also at 2 p.m. when we come your way with Sports Today. Up next is World News.
Good afternoon, welcome to Showbiz here on Joy News. Now, the British High Commissioner to Ghana, Harriet Thompson, says musician King Promise is her favorite artist. According to her, although she loves Ghanaian music, she cannot help but choose King Promise as her #1 because they share a birthday together.
I have to say King Promise because I discovered recently that he's my birthday twin. But I also I really enjoy Ghanaian music. I really enjoy the art scene, the fashion. Yeah, it's just so rich and it's so energizing that it's
any
on
of
a
his
real
songs?
role. I'm terrible at words, at names, but yeah, I'm enjoying it.
So it's just King Promise there for you now?
Oh no, so Sarkodie and Stonebwoy and Jackie and yeah, lots of them.
All of them. I think you're mentioning everyone. Okay, well.
Away from that, gospel musician Perez Music, together with some of Ghana's great musicians, gave an unforgettable performance at the maiden edition of his concert Glorify. According to the singer, this event will go a long way to help inspire young boys on the street.
This is my story. This is our story.
on that note, we end showbiz here on Joy News today. There's more showbiz in our subsequent bulletins, also on myjoyonline.com. Good afternoon to you, Breeze.
Good afternoon, beautiful Becky. And that's how we wrap up today's bulletin. There's more news on myjoyonline.com. My name is Samuel Kojo. Breeze Marketplace is up next. Do enjoy the rest of your afternoon.